Hello, this is the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Manu. Our headlines this hour. Growing demands by labor for some cushioning from government amidst the deepening economic woes. Tonight, the Union of Professional Nurses are the latest to demand COLA.
50% COLA shouldn't be too much for the government to respond to, because we deserve it. And we realize that over the period, government have remained silent on the call for this COLA since TUC and organized labor have actually put it across.
We'll hear from them. Also, minority asked the government to shut pre-tertiary institutions down as a strike of teachers grinds schools to a standstill.
It will be advisable for the GES to direct that the schools be closed down for the safety and security of the students.
In our Living Standard series, we put a spotlight on teachers and how many of them struggle to survive on loans. Another day, another rain, another flooding in Accra. Some private schools forced to shut down today.
The picture that you are watching is 1995. We've been having these issues over here. And if you can see, that's my house over there. And today it is 2022. We're still having that issue, that problem.
Hello again, thanks for choosing us. Now, the calls by labor unions for some cushioning in these harsh economic times continue to grow. Already, 4 labor unions at the pre-tertiary level are on strike, demanding the payment of 20% of their basic salary as cost of living allowance. The latest to join in the demand is the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives. The group, in a statement, says it backs the decision of the teacher unions and urged government to address the issue of COLA among public sector workers in order to avert more strikes. Let's go on to Zoom now and speak to John Adbenyevu. He's the PRO of the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, since when did you start negotiating COLA with government?
Thank you very much, and thank you to your listeners and viewers this evening. And thank you to nurses and midwives across the country. The demand for COLA started sometime in June, where TUC and other organized labor asked that the government cushion the workers across the country with the COLA 20%. We have realized that that call have not been heeded to, and the government have remained silent on it. And we think that there's a need for us to project this voice once again for government to do something about it.
Now, the harsh economic conditions makes it difficult for government to make such payments. Would you agree that the timing is not right for this? Today, for instance, government issued a statement on what the IMF program could possibly entail and how it intends to go about it. Would you say this is the right time to be making such demands?
Yeah, so the hardship we are all experiencing is as a result of the economic issues that we are all talking about. So nurses and midwives are also in the country, and they are human beings, and they demand the best as well. So if we are attributing the call for COLA to a harsh condition or economic situations, it means that then it's the right time to call for that, because we also demand to live well.
Are you going to lay down your tools? And I say this because in your statement, you backed the decision of the teachers to proceed on strike. Is this an indication that very soon you're going to lay down your tools as well?
Yeah, that's a possible line to toe if the government refuses to listen to us. But I'm hopeful that the government will do the right thing, knowing well that the government have the resources to foot this particular demand. I'm hopeful that the government will do the right thing and will not get to that level where we will have to lay down our tools. It shouldn't be that COLA would bring this back and forth where workers should go on strike because of COLA. COLA have been instituted to help cushion members or workers whenever there's harsh economic situation. And so the demand at this time is not uncalled for, it's the demand in the right direction, and we expect that the government will do the right thing. So a strike will be an extreme decision to take, but when the need be, we are sure that we'll take that line.
Thank you very much. That's John Adbenyevu. He is the Public Relations Officer for for the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives. Meanwhile, the Senior Staff Association of Universities in Ghana has also served notice of a strike if government fails to respond to their demand for COLA and other conditions of service. Let me bring you details of a statement they released just this evening. You could see right there, intention to embark on an industrial strike action. It says the national leadership of the Senior Staff Association of Universities at its 16th National Executive Council meeting held at the KNUST Kumasi on the 25th of June 2022 concluded, amongst other things, the deteriorating cost of living of its members as a result of the rising cost of fuel prices, goods and services, and the introduction of new taxes, as well as the high inflation rate, which is making the living conditions of its members unbearable. Therefore, the national leadership is joining forces with other sister unions to demand 20% of cost of living allowance, also known as COLA, in order to help cushion the living conditions of members who are wallowing in abject poverty. The leadership has also observed with the greatest of displeasure by the failure of government and management of public universities to implement agreements in our conditions of service, and have also failed to address the underlisted issues of concern. So they talk about failure by public universities management to respect the implementation of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission's directive on promotion and upgrading of senior staff to senior members' position in public universities. And this contained in a letter dated 24th of December 2021. Also, they talk about government's failure to pay all Tier 2 outstanding interest from 2010 to 2016 to its members, according to the express dictate of the National Pensions Act 2008, Act 766. This unfortunate development, they say, has brought untold hardship and depression to its members who are due for retirement, to the extent that some members who retired lost their lives due to the unbearable conditions. It goes on to say that failure by some public university management to regularize the appointment of casual and temporary staff who have worked for 6 years and above, which clearly breaches the Labour Act 2003, that's Act 651. Failure to pay some generic allowances of all senior staff across board as enshrined in our conditions of service. Failure of GTEC and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to award senior staff support allowances as other associations have been granted and paid through internally generated fund. And the third point is failure by government to act fairly to extend the award of interim market premium to the senior staff cadre. By this, the association is serving notice to government and its agencies concerned to take immediate steps to address these concerns enumerated above or on before the 13th of July 2022. Consequently, failure to address these concerns stipulated will not be countenanced any longer, as the leadership will have no choice but rather advise itself accordingly. And of course, it stated that it will embark on a strike. Now, some basic schools in pupils in Kumasi have resorted to personal studies as teachers show solidarity with their national demand for cost of living allowance. The students defied Tuesday's rain for school as many were not aware of the strike declared on Monday. Class 3 pupils of the new Asafo Basic School decided to keep themselves busy by going over the previous day's lessons. Nana Ojima visited some schools in the region and filed this report.
It was a wet morning on Tuesday in Kumasi, but the rains did not deter the children from going to school. At the new Asafo Basic School, classrooms were empty as the students took to the school's playing field to have fun. The staff rooms were locked despite the presence of 2 teachers and the headmistress who were there to ensure safety of the children. Some shared the reasons for their presence on campus.
Our mistress told us we should come to school today.
When did she say that?
Yesterday.
Why? Why did she ask?
Please, I don't know.
But are you aware that your teachers are on strike?
No.
They didn't tell you that they are going on strike?
Yes.
So how do you feel to know that they are not in school?
I think we should learn ourselves.
Are you aware that they are absent? Did they tell you that they won't come to school today?
No.
They won't?
Yes.
So what are you going to do?
we will gather ourselves so that we will learn.
So when do you think you will leave the premises?
I don't know what time we will leave. Yes.
In class 3, the pupils here have decided to go over the previous day's lesson. They trust the class prefect to lead them for the activity.
They say our teachers will not come, but we don't know the reason.
The class prefect will lead us to read what is on the board.
Reading?
Yes, reading. This is about best 9. Yeah, you can't read, you can't read, but you can't read, but can't prefect naturally.
At the Adiababa and Amekom basic schools, students were found idling on campus. Though head teachers were seen on the premises, they will not speak to our news team. For now, it looks like the daily decision to go to school rests with the children and their parents in the face of the strike. For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
And some basic school head teachers in the Techima municipality of the Bono East region send school pupils back home, contrary to a directive to keep the schools opened and have teachers supervise the pupils. Now, at the Techima Islamic Basic School, the headmistress, Isiama Fuseina, said the directive is to ensure that the pupils return home safely. And Asabit monitored the situation in the area and filed the following report.
So as the strike action by various teacher unions across the country takes effect today, we are monitoring the situation across the Techima municipality. Currently, I am in the Islamic Basic School, and the head mistress have been engaging. Madam Isiama Fusina has been telling me measures she's taking to ensure that the pupils who are already here in their numbers are safe. She's instructed them to go back to their homes. We've been speaking with her. Let's take a listen.
Yesterday we heard it in the news concerning this strike action. But we also heard that at least the heads should be in school, open the doors, and then for the pupils. So this morning I decided to come and see what's happening here.
The situation isn't any different here at the Techiman Islamic Primary B, where the headmaster, Mr. Mohammed Boatin, has urged the pupils to return home, considering the fact that the teachers are not showing up today.
In fact, the situation, as you have come to see, I came around 7 o'clock to see the children around, but none of the teachers is showing up.
From the Techiman Islamic Cluster of Schools, my name is Anas Sabit reporting for Joy News.
From the Bono East region, let's head to the OT region because third-year senior high school students in the region are calling on government to listen to their teachers and respond to their demands. They are worried the strike over cola could affect their pending final examinations. Correspondent Peter Senu has been interacting with some parents and students and our reports.
To come and see what will happen. So what's happening to what did you see?
I see that there is no teacher here. It's only the students.
Good. You are in Form 3 too?
Yes, please.
How do you feel about the situation?
I don't like it at all, but we don't know what to do about it.
We stayed in the house for barely a year and not being able to complete our syllabus. We are finding it very difficult to even prepare for our final exams.
Some parents are also calling on government to immediately respond to the request by teachers so their children could go back to school.
Normal akosro until the teacher focus strike one way right because yeah two normal so now yeah two teacher focus to
we don't know what is going on. We don't know what is going on. They say they are allowance. So we appeal for the government to come to their aid.
I've also been joined by the district NAT chairman, Mr. Philip Oboni. He has been going around and we want to find out from him his observations.
Teachers are actually adhering strictly to the directive from leadership to stay out of work. So in some of the schools, they have been virtually closed down. And other places too, you go and meet only the head teacher at post.
From the OT region, my name is Peter Sanu for Joy News.
Elsewhere, Form 3 students of some public schools in the Tamale metropolis have expressed worry about the strike by their teachers that if it prolongs beyond what would affect their preparation for the basic examination, that's the BECE. As Martina Bugi reports, they are appealing to government to address the teachers' concern to enable them return to work.
Most schools Joy News visited were very quiet under lock and key, except for the chirping of birds and the movement of some security men. The school was literally quiet for a Tuesday morning. Earlier in the morning, Joy News has spoken to some of the students who said the strike action would impact negatively on their education.
I don't know that I would get on strike and I'm on my way to school, but if it's I would get on strike, I'm Form 3 student, and my teachers have to prepare me for the BEC exam. And if they are on the strike, how can I be able to write my BEC exam? It will affect my education.
At the Lamashegu cluster of schools, the children said they wanted to use the classrooms, but the security man would not allow them enter these classrooms.
We come to school today, and the security man said he don't know what is happening. He said we should go home.
Okay.
Yesterday they not tell us that they are going somewhere, so we don't know. Today we just came to school.
And here in Accra, the minority in parliament say government should shut down pre-tertiary institutions if they cannot meet the demands of the teachers who are on strike. The Ghana Education Service has directed head teachers to keep the schools open, but addressing journalists in parliament, the deputy ranking member on the Education Committee, Dr. Clement Park, said it's not possible for head teachers and senior housemasters alone to protect students and keep the schools functioning.
The teacher unions, after failing to get the attention of government to address their request to be paid the cost of living allowance, also known as COLA, have decided to embark on a nationwide strike. As we speak today, close to 7 million students from kindergarten through primary school to junior high school to secondary schools are currently not benefiting from teaching and learning. Clearly, this is as a result of the government's inability to meet its obligations and to be proactive in addressing the needs and demands of labor unions, including the teachers. We have seen a circular from the Ghana Education Service directing managers of schools to take control and to ensure the safety and security of students. Clearly, that cannot be enough if you consider that one head teacher alone cannot take care and secure the safety of an entire school. So we want to urge government to immediately address the concerns of the teachers so that they can go back to the classrooms without any further delay. If this goes on beyond 2 to 3 days, it will be advisable for the GES to direct that the schools be closed down for the safety and security of the students. But ultimately, government bears the responsibility of ensuring that the needful is done so that the teachers can go back to the classroom.
You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Kojo Manu. Still to come, another day, another rain, another flooding in Accra. Some private schools have been forced to shut down.
The picture that you are watching is 1995. We've been having these issues over here. And if you can see, that's my house over there. And today it is 2022. We're still having that issue, that problem.
Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Now, at the Obra spot, the rains wreaked havoc, leaving a trail of plastic waste. The rainwater entered the homes and shops of residents living close to the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. Here's the story of the Dixon brothers, who continue to count their losses.
Homes and shops around the Kwame Nkrumah interchange flooded after a few hours of rain.
Very, very serious. Very serious.
Yao Ejay Dixon owns a shop here. From above, the roof to his shop is leaking, and from the ground, the flood water seeps in. Double trouble.
The last time that they do the demonstration here, the people at the other end were throwing stones. Okay. You see, they threw a lot of stones into this direction to the police people, and in fact, my shop. So when you enter into my shop, you could see that there's a water from the up there.
So the stones from the demonstration has perforated your roof?
Exactly. So now I'm not part of the demonstration, so I have to use my money to do this. I just call a carpenter. You look at the number.
His brother, Kwame Dixon, was also affected by the floods. He owns a printing press. He says the rains have destroyed 2 of his high-end printers.
First time, this copy has gone off. Wow. I have to buy a new one.
How much is it?
It's around 4,500. It has gone off.
The effects of the rains are far-reaching. When the rainwater receded, it left behind heaps of plastic waste scattered everywhere, tree stumps and silt. Under the Kokomlemle Asylum Down flyover, silt blocked the flow of water and traffic. Some commuters resorted to walking.
No, actually I'm going to pick a car from here.
But why didn't you pick the car from the other side?
I pick the traffic over there, so I just want to go up there.
So you want to go up there first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So where are you going to?
I'm going to Teshi.
Teshi?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Thank you very much. So he's going to Teshi and he's decided to walk just this stretch of the road and find a vehicle up ahead. Bright Ahin volunteered to clear the debris.
I came with myself because we are working here. As the thing happened, we have to even try and do it because of the car, so that we also can work, because we bring a lot of traffic there.
I mean, what do you care to come and do this?
Oh, that guy doesn't care about anything. Just I wanted to do it.
You wanted to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. But is this something that happens often? Do you always come and do this?
No, not all the time. Only today that has happened. So I just came from my house and right now I just came. As I came here, what there was, as you can see. So we are trying to help so that the cars will just move. That's all.
The Dixon brothers blame the flooding situation on the poor construction of drains in the area.
In fact, this is Accra city, major city, and this thing is happening. You see, when they were doing the flyover, they're supposed to widen the gutters. Okay. They didn't do that. They rather close it. You see, that has caused the problem. In fact, if you want to do, look at the fine edifice like this. It's very nice. But I'm telling you, the architects, they are not good at all. Because if you want to do something, you consider your drainage system. You make sure the drainage system is fine. So when it rains, nothing of that sort will come.
This problem, when they were constructing this bridge, we told the contractor that the drainage system is very poor here. So they should do the gutters. They told us the government said they shouldn't do gutters, only bridge they are coming to do. So they still part of the gutters. Where you see now, you see the main road. When it rains, instead of the water to enter into the gutter, they've sealed those holes. So you can't get a way to enter into the gutter. Then you see the water spreading on the streets. So it's very bad. They need to come and work on it. At least we need holes in our drainage systems. They have to dig holes so that to enter the gutter. Here, there's a big gutter here, but there's no way the water will enter the gutter. Okay. So where is it? So the government have to come and do something about it.
The Ghana Meteorological Agency is predicting more rains in the coming days. For Joy News, Michael Ashale, Obra Sport.
Now, residents of Alajo in the Ayawaso Central Municipality continue to count their loss following this morning's downpour. The rains, which lasted for less than 2 hours, forced the New Star Preparatory School, the oldest private school in that community to shut down. All pupils have been asked to go home except final year students who have been kept on a story building in the area in order to allow them write their mock examination. Blazer Suga has the rest of the story.
We're here at Alajo. It's one of the communities in the Ayawaso Central municipality, and already just after this morning's downpour, the effects of the rain are telling. One of the older schools in the community, the New Star Preparatory School, established in 1979, has also been flooded. The school has been completely shut down, and authorities have asked all the students, about 400 of them, to return home to their parents, except for final year students who are taking their district mock examinations, which the school authorities are telling us they've been able to secure one of the classrooms for them to take that critical piece of test. However, the teachers and some members of the staff have been narrating to Joy News the genesis of the problem, not just here at the school, but within the entire Alajo community.
In fact, when it started, it stopped for a while around 6:10, 6:20, but it came back heavily again. That time, most of the students have arrived, and then so you have to close them now. Yeah, we have to close them now. Yes, they are worried because some of them came here to find out what is going on, because some are afraid something will happen to them. So some have come for their awards, and
especially for those who are writing exams, what assurances did you give the parents?
We give them assurance that there is nothing that is going to happen to their awards, because teachers are here to take care of their awards. If in case anything happens, they are here for them.
And how are they feeling psychologically? I mean, writing an exams when right beneath you there is flooding. That must be traumatic for them, writing mock starting today.
Yeah, it's true. It's true though. But what they can do is to just learn, and then, because they know they have a major exams to write ahead of them, so they have to prepare no matter what, whether rain or shine. They have to prepare.
And this problem is not the first. It has been happening. The MPs, this constituency belongs to MPP, and whenever it rains, they will come and promise, "Oh, we want to do it, we will help you." But it has been happening. ACCRA came, he promised, no, so they were able to construct the other side, but this side was not constructed. That was why the problem is still existing. If they are able to construct this gutter from here to Jolu, everything will be okay.
My name is Prince Vanderpoy. I live at Alajo Junction. And this is me. This is my late dad. This is my big sister. This is my big brother. This is my mom. This is the picture that you are watching is 1995. We've been having these issues over here. And if you can see, that's my house over there. And today it is 2022. We're still having that issue, that problem. That's my little sister. It is crazy, but I don't want to talk any much.
I think what we are suffering is too much. The government have to do something about it, because 1995, the same thing happened. We suffered, but still we are still in this condition. So the government should come out and do something about it.
And so you can see that the residents are trying on their own just to try as much as possible to fetch the water from the room and pour it out onto the compound. But that's not even the solution to the problem that is being faced here, because if the rain falls as he's indicating, the rain will definitely come back again. So that's the situation where we are. Almost every house on the stretch within the Alajo community has been affected. So you can see at the other side as well, a lactating mother trying to make way and clear the room so they can pour away the flood waters that have filled most of the rooms here.
So our Drive Safe campaign now, and road safety is a combination of many factors, from discipline of motorists, care on the part of pedestrians, and quality infrastructure. Whilst Ghana has a huge infrastructure deficit, the growing incidence of faded or no road markings on major roads across the country is a great source of concern for drivers. Some of them who spoke to Joy News say the situation makes driving, especially at night, difficult. They want the roads marked to reduce road accidents. Samuel Mbura has more in this report.
Driving at night comes with several challenges given the poorly lit nature of our roads, but the situation is compounded by the absence of road markings that would help drivers stay on course. Some commercial drivers tell Joy News most of the accidents recorded on our roads are as a result of drivers veering off their lanes, especially on single carriageways. For them, the fight against indiscipline will not yield the expected results if this issue is not addressed.
Marking at the road, if it is fade, is hardly for you to see, identify your other vehicle at your side. So if it is not well organized at the road, it is difficult for you to drive at the night.
La marking now mo yan there. I know what e ko so agent so obu atimi ko nze e bia nam no unam lem enso no du nche no nzo onam lem o ma bia onam to timi ba wudi anim o ba so aben so nze bia o ha no.
Actually, I'm very worried because you know most of our road doesn't have street lights.
Let's speak to road construction consultant, engineer Abdullahi Mahama. He joins us on Zoom. Mr. Mahama, thank you for joining us here on Joy News Prime. So from a very layman's perspective, I know that road markings are basic when it comes to road construction, but are there some roads that are allowed to go without markings? For instance, those in the inner cities?
Well, I'll say good evening to your viewers. All roads in the country or anywhere else are supposed to be marked. So there's no classification as to whether it's a highway or a trunk road or a local road, maybe a community road. All of them are supposed to be marked because that defines the carriageway of every vehicle in contraflow or on the same carriageway. If you have a two-lane dualization or dual road, the road marking would not distinguish where the inner road, the inner carriageway is supposed to be, and then outer carriageway, and then the shoulder. So no road should be constructed without the what we call one of the ancillary or furniture, road furniture, which is the line markings and guardrails and other components that demarcate the furniture.
And I ask this question because I see a lot of them coming up where you have, some asphalting done in the inner cities and it is left unmarked. But is there a period for the roads that are marked? Is there a period for regular, or routine works to be done in order to keep the lines in check?
Well, I wouldn't say it is just regular. I have some of the roads that I actually participated in. If you look at the Pantine, Oyarifa to Obra to Manfi Road, when we completed the road in 2006 and 2007, there were two lots from Peduasa Lodge all the way to Manfi. Was the first lot in 2006, and that road has been marked from 2006, and it's about 70 to 80% still visible. And then the other one is the down level at Pantine to Peduasa Lodge. Now, I've seen a lot of roads within the capital, highway, urban roads, feeder roads, which have received the line marking. And unfortunately, in a matter of a year or 2 or 3 maximum, they fade away. So if some of the roads have stayed for more than 15 years, the line marking itself, and they have not faded, I think that we have to question the type of material, the paint, and then the glass beads that are used for the line markings. So an example, let's say a subcontractor who is into line markings quotes a rate of maybe 1 meter for 4 cities, and that stays for more than 15 years, or let's say 10 years average. And another contractor quotes for like 2 cities. And every 2 years or 1 year, you have to go and do a line marking again. We have to ask questions and look at the integrity of the road furniture itself. Malankaswa stretch is one of the most dangerous areas, especially in the evenings. And if I may not be mistaken, over the past 6 years, I've seen about 3 times of the line marking applied on the road. So what is happening? Somebody ought to be checking after the line marking is done. How long does it stay? They have to check the material that is used. There are 2 components, the paint and then the bits. The bits reflects when you throw the light on them. And it's an effective way of communicating, a continuous way of communicating with the driver or the motorist especially the first-time user on most of the roads which have a lot of curves or potential black spots.
Okay. Engineer Mahama, thank you for your time. We've been speaking to the National Road Safety Authority. They say they would urge the institution, that's Urban Roads, to move to those areas where the lines are faded or do not exist at all in order to fix the situation. This is Johnny's Prime with me and the Spirit.